every week. Every week it gets better. It really just gets better. That's how this works. This is how it's supposed to work. And yo, go to the podcast stream so that you can hear this later. This song is nuts. I don't condone him spazzing that way though. Mm. What's going on, beautiful people? My name's Kasabian Lavoe. Welcome to the Kasabian Lavoe Show. And if you can't see me, you can see me now. What's going on, beautiful people? Y'all got to give me 2 seconds because you know we doing this like grassroots. Tuviste? Meaning I got to share this real fast. Well, people don't see it because, wow, that was annoying. What was that? Why did I get an alert? Don't we got that turned off? We're supposed to be a professional podcast. We're professionals. That's why we do this. Oh, that must be the comments or something. It's pretty gross. Let's look at what that looks like. We have a new thing so we can see the chat. What's going on my A1 Day One podcast listeners? Because the listeners are amazing. You guys are my ride or dies, my day one A1s. And I always appreciate y'all for even putting up with me because I be doing this to y'all and I know, I understand. It's To the truth. Oh, bruh. I think we just went like 10 minutes with no sound on the stream. That's terrible. All right, well, shit. Here we go. Um, I guess I talked about nothing because y'all would have watched Takashi anyway. Uh, damn. It would have been nice to know it was on mute. Or whatever it is. I don't even know why it does that, to tell you the truth. It's some shit that OBS does. I wanted to and why it's something that we need to differentiate and have a grasp of what they're trying to do when they implement these different laws and these different programs that are meant to help you, but in reality will hinder you or cause I want to say like a no progression style of help, which is not help, right? Like if you wanted help, you would want progression. You don't want to just sit stagnant. So when people say they want equality, I don't understand what they mean because I don't think they understand what they mean, right? Like equal means that we don't talk about, there's no difference. So you don't talk about it, right? Because if it's equal, one is one. It's equal. It's it. That's what equal is, right? And to say that there is an issue or there isn't equality in this country for people to make money, that's when I find it so discouraging when you hear the new president and vice president elect talk about to catch up to white people. One thing I think everyone should understand and always and forever know. The United States has been built on this free market and capitalism that creates a forward motion. It's always moving forward. Unfortunately, they want us to catch up to the white people that have already been going, and they're not going to stop. That's how this country works. So you're always doing better. If you look back 20 years ago, in the year 1999, the year 2000, people had TVs in their homes that were ginormous still. If you go back 20 years further, back into the 80s, very few people had more than one TV in their home. Fast forward to now, I think everybody has multiple TVs in their home. That's it. I know it sounds superficial, but I'm just trying to give you a great example. So, to say that you want equality, well, you would have to prove that there is no equality. In this country, no matter what your color is, no matter what you've done, you can even be a felon. You can open a business. No matter your race, no matter your sex, no matter your preference, no matter your gender, nothing. Age may be a requirement, so that's understandable because you have to open bank accounts and you have to be, aware of what your, what was the word? I can't say participating in, but I mean I don't think children should be doing business anyway. But that's for a whole different discussion. Either way. Besides the age thing, there's really nothing stopping you from being your own boss, making an unlimited amount of money by providing a service and getting completely away from the government because you can take care of yourself. Like, that's what the problem is when they start offering these programs, because the programs, they're never there to help you. They might help you in the beginning, which that's great. I think those programs that are available to help people are phenomenal. It's when let's get into the food stamp thing real fast. Food stamps was supposed to be like a short-term program. And at one point, because I'm doing research on food stamps right now, but at one point, food stamps, you had to pay for them. Like, you bought them with money and then they gave you credits. Like, the stamps equaled food. And they would help you get food. Like, basically, your 50 cents cost you $1. Like, when you pay 50 cents, got you $1 in food stamps. So 50 cents will give you $1. And there was other ones that were blue ones and orange ones. It's very diluted in the government's breakdown of how the program worked. But, that started off as a program where you bought these credits called food stamps. Now, do some people need help? 100%. Does that have anything to do with equality? Not at all. Not at all, because we all qualify for help when we need it. The issue is when you think that you're owed that help or that you deserve the next step. You see the equal outcome. Now, If I work 20 hours a day and you work 5 hours a day, depending on how much you make, them 5 hours might be worth my 20. But 9 times out of 10, it ain't. It's very hard to say that. If I bust my ass 20 hours a day, every fucking day, doing multiple things that create multiple streams of income, and you're complacent doing one thing, and that one thing only generates X amount of dollars, let's say $30,000 off of one thing, and I generate 1.2 million. We both worked for a year. You chose your hours. I chose my hours. We're both business people because equally we can start our business. So it's my business against your business and your practices, right? Now I'm giving this example to explain equal outcome. So if in a year I put in hundreds of hours, I worked multiple angles, more than one business because I'm working for myself. So I need to do things that'll keep me afloat. I'm not going to take it easy. I'm going to go hard. And let's say you go hard too and you fail. And that's okay. Let's say I go hard. Let's say I put in 20 hours a day for the whole fucking year and we don't really create any headway. Now, whatever the case is, what we have to understand is that what's equal is that we're able to do this. What's not going to be equal is what happens at the end. Just like I said, how about I put in the 20 hours a day for 7-8 months and my business fails, which I've had multiple businesses fail. It happens. You put in so much time and you bust your ass and it fails. Now, the other business is being ran more efficient than mine was. They were only putting in 4 or 5 hours a day, but those 4 or 5 hours a day were making them 10 times more money than I was making. At the end of the year, they cleared more money than me. What's the difference? Like, the equality was there. Yes or no? Well, yes or yes. Like, it was equal. We both had the opportunity because that's what this country gives us, is opportunity. But at the end of it, that shit's a variable. In one scenario, I could be up. In one scenario, I could be down. In one scenario, the other owner could be up. We can both be up. We can both be down. You can't have equal outcome. It's not how that works. I mean, you can never justify how hard someone works because what's harder for one person might be easy for another. And monetarily speaking or value-wise, it may be the same amount on paper. You understand what I'm saying? Like, for somebody to build something, let's say building a desk is what you do, right? And you've been building desks forever and you have a knack for it and you're very fast. You can build 20 desks in half an hour, but the job calls for 20 desks in 8 hours. You're not going to get paid more. If all they want was that done in the 8 hours because, let's say production is slow. Let's say you can't overproduce. Overproducing is a problem. I mean, these are all business terms and not business terms, excuse me. These are all business scenarios that a lot of people just don't care about and won't understand. And that's going to be a big part of your downfall. Like, you can't expect the outcome to be different when you do the same thing that other people are doing. Like, you should never take money advice from a broke person. You should never take health advice from an unhealthy person. It's just common sense, right? Something that they say we don't have, but when you hear about programs that are supposed to boost you and put you in this position and that position, I wonder, well, how does that happen? What are you changing? What's the difference? Are we learning more? Because I think our biggest weakness that would cause us to have any or inequality would be that our educational system hasn't evolved with what's going on right now in the world. Not only in the world, what's going on in our communities. Like, it's not the 1950s anymore. It's the year 2020. We obviously have different ways of communicating and different ways of maneuvering things, and we still teach the same way. We still get upset at kids that can't comprehend these little letters that we put in books and all these numbers that we throw at them, and then we get mad at them or frustrated with them because they're not comprehending this shit in a world where they would barely need it. In all reality, let's just be honest. They would honestly barely need half the shit that gets taught in school. I want to change the screen and see if the little sound thing cuts out. Boom, it didn't. Awesome. If education was adjusted to do what it's supposed to do, which is help you get a job, because I don't know what the fuck else school would be for if it's not help you get a job, right? So if school actually did its job, I think that discussion of equal outcome will get kicked the fuck out of the way. Because the only reason anybody will want equal outcome is just laziness. I mean, as we approach Thanksgiving, they've tried to erase Thanksgiving because they've made it this fucking genocide and this racist war that never happened. When those English folks came here and met the natives, they had colds. Most of the people that got killed or died was because of a fucking cold. It was germs. And what they brought here was the whole idea that they wanted to create this republic. Like, they had this great idea of giving the people the power, right? I mean, we've gotten into this. But for Thanksgiving, the reason why Thanksgiving was such a beautiful thing and how it all worked out was that, they started their own little capitalistic neighborhood, right? What are you good at? Oh, I'm good at growing X. What are you good at? Oh, I got some cows and shit. I'm good at, keeping the cows and herding cows or whatever the case is. What are you good at? Oh, I'm good at building shit. What are you good at? You see how that works? Now we create a community. Instead of everybody depending on just one person or one thing to take care of everybody, now you earn your keep. And it's not even hard to imagine a scenario that way because we live in that life right now. And this goes right back to equal outcome and equality. Unfortunately, what was happening was that there would be one person that could do all the shit real good, and there would be somebody that just was like, yo, why do I got to do anything if he's doing that? And they would take advantage of the system. See, that's when the Pilgrims were the ones that came in and had to change that, because that's how things were going when they got here. The few, they don't need to be complete experts to get this shit right. We just need them to get their hands on this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, he don't need to know exactly how to build a fucking house, but we can teach him. They didn't know that. They didn't see that, right? So they were taught that. And that's what happened. That's where the whole Thanksgiving, story stems from, that they all came together as a community. Everybody did what they were good at. One person built the table. One person made the cloth. A certain farmer had that cornucopia of food and I mean, the ambiance, the everything all came about because of a group of people that came together that shared their talents instead of taking advantage of one certain group of people that did everything. And I mean, debate me if you want, but that sounds like a fucking phenomenal fucking story to tell. And I think it's something we should keep going forever and ever and ever. I really don't see the purpose in shutting that down. What does it hurt? I don't comprehend. Like, how do you make that a bad thing? It's like, how do you make Black Lives Matter a bad thing? Like, that's insane, right? That statement is foolproof. You cannot fucking fuck that up. Black Lives Matter. Yes, they do. Well, then why doesn't Thanksgiving and the story behind it? Like, they've tried to destroy our holidays, bro. Every time a holiday comes up, it's some fucking racist story behind it and some crazy ass fucking like satanic fucking bullshit tied to it. Oh, Christmas was about fucking hanging babies in trees, and Thanksgiving they came and they killed all the Indians and this and that and da-da-da. Yo, what? Bro, I love Christmas because it makes me feel fucking amazing. It makes me happy and it makes me warm. I love Christmas. It's fucking awesome. I love Halloween. That's cool. 4th of July is my favorite fucking holiday. It's my summer Christmas. It's amazing. But I love Christmas. I love Thanksgiving. The idea of Christmas and Thanksgiving is a beautiful thing, and they want to take us from that. And that frustrates me. So, to tie all the fucking equality and equal outcome thing, if you did live in a society where we just depended on a certain class of people to take care of us, we would be at their mercy. And that's what happens when you ask for equal outcome. But you won't get equal outcome. What happens is when you have one person or a group of people that get to choose how you move, you see like the, what is that livable wage bullshit, the $15 an hour. Like, how is that a livable wage for who? Who came up with that number and said, yeah, that's the one? And then who spoke to the businesses and asked them if their business, deemed $15 an hour worth of labor? Damn, I'm gassy than a bitch. You see, it's hard to have government and have these people, these entities decide how you live, because if you leave it to them, you're just going to get the scraps of the scraps. You see, in a free market, you compete. So you're going to get the best of the best. You're not going to buy the shitty water. You're going to buy the water that's most affordable and quality, right? And that's because of competition. That's our free market. That's capitalism. When you take that away and somebody's controlling how you make things and how you get things, you just expect the worst of the worst. We live in a country that has equality. We really do. You can do anything. There's nothing out there that says you can't. There's no law in this country that says you can't start a business. That's not a thing. That's a fact. Anybody can start one and you can live your life and be free of the government. You want to stop dealing with the government and dealing with stupid ass conversations about shit that make no sense? Start your own business, make your own money, pay your taxes, and then become completely independent of the system. Because when you stop complaining about the system and you become your owner, things change. There is no equal outcome. You cannot have equal outcome. I can shoot a basketball 100 times. LeBron James can shoot that same basketball 100 times. It's going to look a lot different. Equally, we can shoot the ball. And probably even that's not equal. But for the sake of the conversation, yes, I can shoot a basketball. We can equally shoot the basketball. What happens afterwards, well, that's determined on skill. That's determined on talent. That's determined on the work ethic that was put into building all that talent and skill. You see what I'm saying? I can make an egg. So does Gordon Ramsay. The shit might not look the same, LeBron, but is that to say that a person can't be a good player or can't be a significant talent? Because maybe you don't make it to the NBA. Maybe you just get good enough to play well. I mean, anything is possible. But then those are, humanly limits that you have to be able to accept. Your DNA. Are you tall? Are you short? Are you strong? Are you weak? Things of that nature that, things that you'll learn as you get older. Your DNA and how you're broken down is the fuck. That's it. There's no changing that. Yeah, there's a few things you can do, but there's no changing that. At the end of this, just understand that we do have equality. This is probably one of the most liberating fucking countries in the world. I know. It seems crazy. Kasabian, what are you saying? What am I saying? I'm saying that you can do whatever the fuck you want here. Anything. You can go out and start a business right now. Be independent. Be free. Fuck waking up and working for anybody. Now, I'm not mad at you if you work for somebody. What I'm saying is that you can't complain about certain issues if you're not involved, right? Like, what's the point of complaining about taxes when you're not even in a bracket that's going to fucking make a splash? Stop worrying about the next man's pockets. You can change that. You have the opportunity. It's right there. That's where the equality is. Because you go, who the fuck does this person think they are that owns this place? You could be that person that owns a place. You got to take a risk. You got to go learn. Our biggest weakness is not monetary. It's education. We don't have these conversations about shit like this. We can't play victim. We just got to know what's going on. It's not about being victim or being complacent either. There's so much to it. Again, you can be a worker and live just fine. I mean, if you believe in somebody's dream and you want to rock with them, please, by all means. Workers are going to always be needed, but workers to me are more like a seasonal thing, right? When you start in your career, you start at the bottom and you move your way up. That's just life. You start in the hood, you go to the burbs, and hopefully before it's all over, you end up in something big as fuck with a view of the whole city. That's just life. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's how we supposed to live. Keke Palmer had a tweet about food stamps and was saying that we should make food stamps only buy healthy foods. Now, that led me into digging into food stamps because I wanted to learn more about food stamps before I spoke on them, because economically I understand why that doesn't work. What I didn't understand was, why is the program around? How does it work? And what was the purpose of it? Because economically the program is to help farmers. It's not to help you or whoever's a recipient of food stamps. Okay? Welfare, if you really look at welfare, has been for the rich for a long time. Welfare isn't for the poor. It doesn't really benefit you. If I'm a homeowner and I put my home up for Section 8 rent, I'm going to get my mortgage paid every fucking month on the 1st. Who is that really helping? Me. Food stamps was always a push. Well, not always, because like I said, I'm learning about food stamps. But from what I knew, because in my lifetime, food stamps were being pushed by farmers because they wanted. We were dealing in the global market and we were losing, so farmers were hurting, and they were asking, "Hey, you got to subsidize these prices to bring shit down because we can't afford to continue operating at this negative." So when you think food stamps are supposed to be helping you, they're really not. They're only helping the farmers. And you have to blame the government for causing these deficits by creating these shitty trade deals. Like, we're trading our best A1 shit with other countries that are giving us C and D quality foods. This has been happening. And I know it's been changing, but I don't know to what extent. And I would like to look into it before I speak on it anymore. But those trades that Trump changed has really helped our food. It looks way better. Things have changed. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. We waste a lot of water. We waste a lot of resources on food and growth, and all because of trade deals and us selling shit. It's not Corona. It's because I smoke. And us selling shit to other countries because of these trade deals that are more beneficial for them than they are for us. And it's crazy. Sugar cane. If Puerto Rico and in the Bahamas and shit, they still were doing sugar cane, them islands would be standing up strong. The whole soybean thing is crazy. Almonds, if you knew how much water it took to grow almonds, and it's so wasteful. They're so wasteful. They're really not that good for us. But what do I know? I'm just trying to explain this whole food stamp system. The reason why you can't just make food stamps help or make food stamps buy healthy foods is because there's a free market involved. And if healthy foods are the only thing that's selling because of food stamps, then people that make unhealthy foods, according to the USDA, wouldn't make any money. So food stamps have to be for all foods that are nutritious. Anything that has a nutrition label on is considered food. You can buy that food. You can't buy cooked food, but you can buy frozen foods. You can buy fresh foods. You can buy bag of chips, sodas, junk, shit like that. Now, I heard somebody say you can't tell people what to do with their money. When you have food stamps, it's not your money. So take that out of your mind. 2, if you don't understand the economics behind it, you can't explain it better. So, yes, it's a great idea. I've said it myself. How come they don't make us buy good foods? Like, this shit is trash, right? Well, there's a reason why chips have gone up in price, sodas have gone up in price, meats, milk, this, that, and the third. As a business person, when you're guaranteed money, you don't say no. You start producing, and you start raising prices. That's just how the game goes. They knew exactly how much money was in the market. When the government says we're passing a $12 billion bill for the farmers, for SNAP, EBT, and WIC, then farmers go, shit, we got to divvy up $12 billion. We straight. We just got to make X amount, and let's bump up the price so that the government's going to have to give people more money so that people spend more. Now, if you're not on food stamps and prices have gone up on food, this is why. Because we've had an exorbitant amount of people on food stamps, and those prices have been skyrocketing. Now, prices have come down on certain things because we've had these different trade deals, right? Unfortunately, the people that are not on food stamps are the ones that hurt more. And if we let these farmers fucking suffer some, they would drop the prices so they can make more money. You see, and that's just how the market works, right? It's an up and down game. But you can't charge, $10 for this fucking jug of milk. Nobody's buying it. It's going to go bad. You got to drop the price. Y'all got to do something. Y'all charging too much. So they would adjust the price. No, they can sell the fucking jug of milk for $10 because they know there's $12 billion right now floating around of food stamp money. It fucks up the market. We have a free market. Now, from what I'm learning on food stamps, it used to buy them. So you would buy them with cash and it would give you these stamps, these basically, money stamps. And they were for food. One was for food and then one was for perishable food, or not perishable, surplus foods. So basically farmers had too much food and they were trying to figure out how to get, the food to the people. But there was no work, so people couldn't buy the food. So the government stepped in and said, okay, look, we're having a huge waste. We'd rather get people to eat. We'll help the farmers and we'll help the people. That program lasted for a couple years and then it stopped. That was how food stamps was started. The reason why it stopped is because we didn't need food stamps anymore at that point in time. they had jobs were back and the economy had recovered, so people were able to take care of themselves. Now, it disappeared, it came back, disappeared, it came back, became permanent in the 60s. Are food stamps a good thing? I think when somebody needs them, yeah, by all means, please give them food stamps, help them. Should it be permanent? No. No, I think there's better ways for us to accommodate families with food and where the burden doesn't lie on everyone. Because like I said, even though the people that have food stamps can now purchase food, that food is more expensive. Now the average person that doesn't have food stamps on your food stamp at the grocery store, and their basket's getting, lesser and lesser every fucking time they go, it starts to hurt your pocket. You start to move different. So although it's a great incentive to say we should have food stamps, just buy healthy foods, first and foremost, our government, our USDA, they don't even know what the fuck healthy foods are. They're still learning food, so they don't know shit. It's hard to trust them. Second, you have to understand the economics. Although it's a good sentiment, economically speaking, it's a terrible thing to do, and it affects the whole market in a terrible, terrible way, because it just, the people that are doing, okay, let's say you make $5 too much to qualify for food stamps, right? Because there's a qualification. But you spend more money on food because you don't have food stamps because of the people on food stamps. Let that sink in. So the person that doesn't qualify because they make a little bit too much is going to spend more money a month due to all the people that are on stamps. That's just how that works. Our Pope is nasty. Super duper nasty. They caught the Pope liking chicks in bikinis. I think it's awesome, but I had to be pretend to be mad. I just think it's fucking great that the Pope is a nasty old man and he likes pretty girls, but that's cool. I mean, do your thing. I just thought that shit was a little weird that he has an Instagram. He shouldn't even have one. He's a scientist too, so he's a different Pope, right? Like, he wasn't a regular Pope, but he's a nasty old man. He out there liking all type of pictures on the gram. You gonna start putting money bags and shit under the gram or under the girls' pictures? It's gonna be a wreck. Gonna put little cookies, the hostia. You gonna put little hostias under the picture? I feel like this episode was a little darker than I wanted it to be. What the fuck is going on in New York? I heard now there's a fine if you don't wear a mask is $50. Where is all the COVID fines going? Has anybody found that out? Like, where does the COVID money go? Is there is there some type of I don't know. What does it go to, the vaccine? Does it go to the hospitals that need it? Like, where's the money going? Like, there's OSHA, there's the states, there's all these people fining. I mean, people are losing their business licenses. Where the fuck does this money go? And who decides where that money goes? And what is it like? What's the purpose? What's the purpose? Living in a city that is literally putting the stadium of the Allegiant Stadium, the Raiders Stadium, that burden on our tourism through taxes on our hotel rooms. A stadium they could have paid for, but refused to put money into the school system is what we're dealing with. They told us that they were going to take weed money and the taxes from the weed were supposed to help the schools. I don't trust you with my money. I want less government. Like, I don't want more people in my fucking pocket. If I live in a neighborhood that has homes that are $400,000 and up, and we pay X amount of dollars in taxes, we should have amazing, phenomenal roads. Why don't we? I can't trust you people. There's $26 million deficit in schools. Why? Where's the money for these schools? Who is taking, why? Okay, if $15 is a living wage and everybody in politics should take a living wage, that's what they should be paid, a living fucking wage, because they fighting for you to have a living wage. Fuck them. That money needs to go to the schools for these kids, man. Where is this COVID money going? The Raiders were fined like $500,000. Where's that fucking money going into? Who's putting that money in their pockets and who's allowing this shit? I have a real fucking problem with you're going to fine people for wearing a mask. What? Or for not wearing a mask. What is this? What are we doing? It's overreach. I cannot believe that they're allowed to do this shit. I really can't. Well, was that it? Yeah. I gotta keep reading on this food stamp thing. I'm really learning what's going on with it. Not really what's going on with it. Excuse me. Let me reword that. I was busy over here. But what I'm just trying to understand where the program came from and what was the purpose of it. What is the food stamp program built on? That's all. I'm just curious to know everything. I want to know it all. Unfortunately, the government doesn't give you the economic standpoint of it. They just give you the government standpoint of it. So it's very wishy-washy, but I will find out and I will come back and give y'all a whole show on just that. My name is Kasabian Lavoe. Don't live in